Plan your day and stay safe. From KCRG TV9, this is First Alert Weather Now.
And good evening, folks. Welcome to another Monday edition of First Alert Weather Now here on our KCRG TV9 streaming platforms. I'm meteorologist Corey Thompson.
And I'm meteorologist Hannah Messier.
And welcome again to another week where we will be bringing you your in-depth First Alert forecast, as well as a look at a little something that happened in weather history, kind of an unusual September event, and much more than that.
I'm excited to get to talk more about fall, Corey. Can you believe October starts in like just a week?
No, I can't. And we finally started to feel like fall a little bit after that extended warm stretch that we had. So I guess maybe it is about time, isn't it?
The fact that we had a couple of days in the 60s was really nice, especially considering we were in the 90s last week.
Yeah, just a couple days ago. Wasn't even that long ago at that point. But here's what you need to know if you're headed out this evening. It is for continued quiet weather across eastern Iowa. In fact, just a few isolated showers are possible out there. It looks like we're generally going to keep those very, very limited, though. And after that, we're going to keep things, well, unremarkable, frankly, to put it that way. Very pleasant weather, very decent temperatures, too, although we will trend a little bit warmer as the week goes on. Now, looking ahead toward the weekend, we do have some shower chances that return. That comes with the leftovers of what will likely be potentially a hurricane as it comes ashore in the Gulf Coast of the United States. Hannah will have a little bit more on that coming up in just a bit. Your planner for the evening thus calls for temperatures falling from the upper 60s back into the mid 50s as the evening goes on. Showers will be isolated with a northeasterly wind. There's that warm up as we go over the next several days. Temperatures staying slightly above normal throughout, even as we head toward the weekend and that tropical system leftovers gets just a little bit closer. So it does look like we're going to keep that going, which really has been the trend all year long, with only some exceptions. Yeah, we just can't shake that warmth, at least not talking those near record high temperatures that we saw at times last week.
As long as the 80s and the 90s are done, I'm not going to complain. 70s and 60s I can live with.
I think that's the case for a lot of folks too. And it is the nice weather that's always a good idea to get and enjoy. So here's meteorologist Joe Winters with your forecast for fun.
The start of a new week, the start of a new season, our first full day of fall as we've heard, and there's a lot of fun things going on this season that we'll be highlighting. Let's take a look at our forecast for fun. First of all, fall foliage. Let's look at the peak times we normally see some of the fall foliage. Generally the last week of September, first week of October. It looks like we may be just slightly behind that this year in northern Iowa. Central Iowa, first through the third weeks of October, certainly bring that peak color that we all love to see, and farther south, it takes from the second through fourth week of October to see that peak color. We'll give you an update on our color forecast for tomorrow across eastern Iowa. First of all, if you're headed out for a walk looking for some fall leaves, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, things look great. Low 70s up to the upper 70s by Thursday. Will be dry. Could be a few more clouds around on Tuesday. And tomorrow, maybe you have some fall activities going on. Maybe you're planning on going over to the apple orchard. In the morning, we're at 63, by the afternoon, 69, but still, it should be a nice fall day to be out and about, be it slightly warmer than normal. Don't forget our pumpkin patches are open as well. 70 to 75 as we head through the mid part of the week. That should be some perfect weather as well for going out and picking that perfect pumpkin or just enjoying what all the pumpkin patches have to offer. Of course, as we head through the week, we'll also be highlighting all of our football forecasts. Iowa State will be playing in Houston. That'll be a warm game on Saturday. We'll have that forecast coming up tomorrow. Don't forget to always check in for your forecast for fun.
Now, your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Hannah Messier.
As Joe mentioned, fall foliage is starting to move into eastern Iowa. Now, this is from explorefall.com. We have in eastern Iowa some patchy colors up in the northeast, but we're still pretty green in most of the area. A couple of leaves changing farther south. But as we look ahead to what we're going to see in about a week, that's when we're going to have that patchy color over most of eastern Iowa, so get ready for the fall leaves to change over the next several days. Your First Alert has all green boxes highlighted on it, not expecting really much in terms of impacts over the next day, and it is beautiful on our Decorah City Cam. A couple of clouds with a very pleasant evening in general. We have temperatures in the 60s, 68 right now in Cedar Rapids, 69 in Iowa City, and 63 in Decorah, with winds mainly coming out of the east around 5 to 10 miles per hour. pretty light winds. Now overnight, lows cooling back into the 40s and 50s. Cooler areas will be in the north, 47 in Decorah, 48 in Fayette, a tad warmer the farther south you go, 53 in Cedar Rapids, 54 in Washington, with winds out of the northeast around 5 to 10. Now for tomorrow, we're going to be a bit warmer than we were today, in the 70s, 72 in Washington, 74 in Tama, and 71 in Dubuque, with that partly cloudy sky. Now timing out tomorrow, we have a couple of clouds for your morning. Then we're going to see isolated shower activity possible. 1 or 2 showers could develop, but most of the area will stay dry. Clearing conditions by later Tuesday. Tuesday night looks fairly quiet, and Wednesday morning we'll wake up to some sunshine. Now let's look ahead to the tropics. This is Hurricane John, which is now a Category 2 hurricane. You can see the eye pretty well defined as it approaches the coast of Mexico. So we're going to keep a close eye on Hurricane John, but we are also tracking potential tropical cyclone 9. Now 9 is really just a wave, or a tropical wave or disturbance. It doesn't really have much in terms of organization. It's this big cluster of thunderstorms you see south of Cuba. Potential tropical cyclone 9, though, is forecasted to strengthen into a tropical storm on Tuesday and into potentially a major hurricane, a Category 3 storm, before approaching the Gulf Coast. Right now, the forecast has it approaching the Florida Gulf Coast. However, that could change in the next few forecasts. So if you have any friends or relatives along the coast, you'll want to check back for updates. Now, we could see remnants of that tropical system impact parts of eastern Iowa this weekend, just in the form of some scattered showers and storms Saturday and into Sunday. So we're going to watch the weekend forecast fairly closely too. So next couple of days in the 70s, 9 degrees on Thursday, 76 on Wednesday. Overnight temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Friday, 78, still in the 70s for Saturday and Sunday. Overnight temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Pretty consistent in terms of temperatures, Corey, though it's a good thing that we have at least a little bit of rain in the forecast, because grass is really crunchy right now.
Yeah, it really has been. In fact, Cedar Rapids at the airport has only received a trace of an inch of rain so far this whole month, which would be easily setting a record. We'll have to see where we end up after this weekend. We may actually instead fall short, but it's still several days away. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep, that is really dry. I didn't realize we'd be that dry in September.
Yeah, and already last year, September was like one of the top 15 driest on record. So we're kind of doing a repeat year over year there.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. And this time of year really can bring just about anything. And what it brought, well, now quite a while ago, 82 years ago, was some snow. Believe it or not. Yes, this date, or rather 2 days from now, September 25th, this week in weather history, our Weather Rewind takes us to a pretty big storm system that brought us a decent amount of precipitation. Fell in the form, again, of some snow, which mostly melted as it hit the ground, but some of it stuck. And so some places, especially in north central Iowa, received several inches of snowfall accumulation. And in some cases, in most cases, this is the only measurable September snowfall that has taken place on record that dates back at least 100 years. And it was heavy enough that it did cause some damage to trees and utility lines. There were reports of power outages and telephone poles out in parts of eastern Iowa from local news reports at the time. Now, here's where we stood in terms of snowfall accumulations. We had that key there for just a second, but areas that saw the white saw at least a trace of snow up to ½ an inch. This lighter purple was about ½ an inch to an inch, and then the darker blue, an inch or more, and then this pink color, 3 inches or more with this system that fell on the 25th and into the morning hours of the 26th in a few cases. Snowfall reports officially, at least around the area, Cedar Rapids, ½ an inch was recorded by a cooperative observer at the time. Dubuque, Iowa City, and Waterloo all just saw a trace. So not a lot there in any given case. And of course it was melting. The daytime high on the 25th that year actually did get into the 40s. So it wasn't even going to stick around for that long. Now our average first trace of snowfall, well, yeah, that doesn't usually take place until November. Doesn't mean that it can't take place earlier. Of course, we've seen recent years with snowfalls that are measurable in October, but a typical year, November 16th or so in Cedar Rapids, November 29th in Iowa City. First inch of snowfall, average date is a little bit behind that too. And of course, it just kicks off what is several months of potential snowfall. That really does peak in December, January, and February. Those are the months where we see at least 8 inches of snowfall on average in Cedar Rapids. This varies a little bit across eastern Iowa, but a pretty consistent pattern, where the first couple of months of the cold season have a chance, and then it really ramps up during those peak winter months, right during climatological winter. And then, yeah, we still do see a few after that. That says 2 Marches. We mean March, then April, I believe, on that graph. But certainly that leads into less snow again. So we are not under threat to see any of that anytime soon, but doesn't mean that we can't. And now we're getting to those weeks coming up leading into the end of October where we could.
September snow, that's kind of crazy that happened. What you said, 82 years ago? 82
years ago. And for the big 4 cities in eastern Iowa, this was the only September snowfall event on record. I believe some parts of the state have had maybe 1 or 2. We're not talking about like extensive list. In fact, when I pulled up Waterloo's record of snowfall, they had a bunch of dates listed for a trace of something. But if you look at the temperatures on those days, those were actually some accumulations of hail, not of snow, because they were all well above freezing. So that's how it goes down in the record books like that, if hail can pile up to something that's accumulative, something that's measurable.
That must have been some interesting thunderstorms in Waterloo.
For sure. You can get that all kinds of weather this time of year.
I am so excited for the snow in December, though. October's still a little early, September way too early, but around Christmas, I guess that's okay.
I think that's fair. This is pretty extremely early for that. Even October, for me personally, is pushing it, but yeah, we get there eventually.
Yep. Well, luckily no snow in our next 9 days, which is some good news. Let's go in depth. We have a very nice forecast for us, 70s and dry conditions. So for Tuesday, as you head off to school on your Tuesday, looks like that might end up working. All right, so we have temperatures in the 70s over the next several days, 79 degrees on Thursday, 78 degrees on Friday. There we go. Thursday is going to be the warmest day of the week at 79 degrees, but we know the cool weather is going to come. Therefore, our Coats for Kids campaign is underway. Make sure to donate coats. We'll take used or new coats for kids, and you can always mail those to us, or you can donate online. That's always an option. Heading towards Saturday, though. Saturday, if you want to go to a coffee shop on Saturday, that's a great thing to do on your Saturday. Temperatures in the 70s for your Saturday, but in the morning, temperatures in the 60s. Now let's see if we can look ahead to Sunday. Sunday, we're looking at a good amount of fall foliage again Sunday in 7 days from now. So this is what we're expecting fall foliage to be 1 week from today, patchy across the Hawkeye State, which is exciting. Now, as we head into the rest of the 9-day forecast, it's going to be really nice. 70s will be a fantastic thing to get to enjoy. This is one of my favorite times of year just because of how nice it tends to be end of September and into early October, Corey.
Yeah, it really can be. Sounds like you're particularly excited about those leaves. I saw that forecast, and yeah, it'll be here before you know it. I've seen a few trees in my neighborhood already starting to turn.
Yeah, I haven't seen as many in mine, but there's a lot of trees like right outside my window, and watching them change at this time of year is really great.
Yeah, and supposedly dry weather in the fall sometimes is good for those colors too, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'll be waiting, hopefully, and very excited.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for joining us this evening on First Alert Weather Now. We will be back again tomorrow night, this same time, the same place. We hope you have a great night.